Hello and good morning, traders. I wanted to hop on really quick. I don't have a lot of time this morning because I've got several other things happening in my world today. But I wanted to start the day on the 10-year, 1 week chart for natural gas. And the reason that I'm looking that far back is because this price just keeps dropping. If you take a look here at this point, where my Fibonacci study lines start, I chose this point because that is the 5-year low. Now that 5-year low sits right around 1.6, and the date on that low is February 2016. So we are getting pretty close to that area right now. And let's back out of this again. Sorry, I've got my oval drawing tool on again. So as you can see, we've got the TPO profile pulled up this morning. And again, that shows us area of low order fill. I'm sure there's a lot more to that study that I don't quite understand yet, but my approach to trading and most things in life is to try to keep it as simple as possible and to learn what I need when I need to. So I'm not taking extra time to understand the mathematical calculations behind the order flow possibilities. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop in a couple of other hypothetical zones. And what these are is low order fill nodes. So these are a representation of previous orders that have been filled, and the areas where there are not a lot of prints are places where the price could return to due to the low volume. So I'm just going to pop a few of those in there before we back out of the 10-year chart. So from 10 years, let's pop down to the 1-year chart. And you can see our next hypothetical oval zone starts down this direction. We're kind of at the end of the TPO line there, so I'm wondering if we could possibly get a bounce here in this zone with today's report. There's definitely some room for natural gas to move into this zone on the daily, which wouldn't surprise me too much, because if you take a look at the way that the price fell out of that higher zone past the support resistance line, it would make sense for the report or the reaction to the report to cause a gap fill. And again, those are all just hypothetical movements. Could happen today, could happen next week, could happen tomorrow, but these gaps do tend to fill. And if we take a look at the way natural gas has been moving since 11/5 of 2019 through this downward channel, you can see that several times it's touched down to the bottom, popped up over the top. And so it looks like we may be due for another visiting of the higher ends of this channel before possibly continuing down lower. Now, something to consider is that the price may not continue lower. Just because we have low order fills in this area and we don't see any support and resistance below, we always have to take into consideration the fundamentals. And if you're working on Think or Swim, you can pull up the futures, and then on the right hand side on the mobile app, midway through the screen, you can take a look at the spreads, and that will tell you what the contracts in the coming months are trading at, as well as the front month. And those prices fluctuate every day depending on news and reports about the number of production sites And what I have been hearing recently is that though we are in a continuous downtrend, the number of production sites has dropped over the last several months for a variety of issues. And again, I haven't delved very far into that. But I'm assuming that it's related to lessened supply, lessened demand and decreasing prices. So if it's not worth the cost of mining the natural gas, then the production companies are going to stop or slow down, which, per the laws of supply and demand, would decrease the amount of supply, which is currently oversupplied, and in turn should cause a rise in price. So, will we see natural gas continue to drop beyond the current level, or will we see it begin to rally over the next few months? I don't know. We'll just have to watch and find out. Okay, so I'm not going to draw a new hypo zone there because we drew that one in yesterday, but as you can see, the price did not visit that area. But if we take a look here over to the price of natural gas on January 17th, this is one of the places where we had a gap down in price, and a pretty substantial one at that. So it would not surprise me at all if we were to see the price retouch this zone. It doesn't have to, but that zone also coincides with the top of our channel. And as you can see a few times, natural gas has popped over the top of the channel, and it does periodically pop its head over the top of the moving averages. And again, the moving averages I use here are the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA that I primarily watch on my charts. I also use the 9 just as reference for my intraday plays, and I keep only the middle VWAP on my chart. I really don't pay much attention to what's happening on the top or bottom VWAP. It just gets to be too messy on my charts. And then if you pop down here, I also utilize the RSI with the on balance volume overlaid. Again, I don't use any one of these to determine my entry points, but I casually reference them during the day to see whether or not they confirm the price action that I'm seeing. Okay, so this is a low volume node that we identified yesterday. And as you can see, the price has moved into that zone. Sometimes it happens later than you're expecting, sometimes it happens before you're expecting, but more often than not, the price does visit those zones. And if we back out again to this further, let's just look at a 3-year chart. No. Sorry, that doesn't quite give you the view that I'm looking for. So this is a good visual for you guys. This is where you choose. So you come up to your time frame, and then you can do a customize so that it constantly pops up here. I usually have one, but I reset it for some reason. But you can come up here and adjust your chart so that you've got the time frame that you desire. So looking at where our price level is now at 1837, there are not a lot of areas of resistance in between 187 and that low down around 1.6. So unless an institutional buyer gets really interested in natural gas contracts soon, or the report is in favor of natural gas, we could very possibly see some heavy moves downward. So now we're looking at the 15-minute chart. I just like to peek at all of these to see if the direction agrees. And then again, I trade off of the 5-minute chart. So that's where I end. And I do not keep the TPO profile up during the day, just because I don't like the way that it skews the chart. So we'll pop that off. We're going to come up here to styles and just take a look at the monkey bars for the day. Again, I'm just starting to adjust myself to looking at these, so I don't have much of an explanation for them, but as I understand it, they are just another representation of where orders have been printed. And this is the expanded view, so we're looking at that price movement right into the hypothetical zone from yesterday. And see, there's our other one right up around that resistance and in a previous supply and demand zone. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the report pulled us way up into this area before a continued drop. That doesn't mean that it will, it just wouldn't surprise me if that happened. All right, so let's get back to the standard 5-minute chart. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a potential new fresh zone here. Reason being is that the price, we don't have any other zones in this area because the price hasn't been here in quite a while, so there's nothing historical for me to work from. This zone may or may not hold up. We'll see how it works over the next few weeks. But what I'm looking for in zones, and again, I only started working with zones in the last few months, so I'm not, I am definitely not your expert. But we're looking for areas where the price kind of had a dramatic drop, and then the way that it recovers out of it, because this is representative of some larger orders that went on through that entire 5-minute candle. So this may or may not be an area of interest for larger buyers around the world, which is causing the price to not drop below it at the moment. So that would be an area of demand for futures contracts right now. Doesn't mean that it will be tomorrow or in 20 minutes. Okay, that's going to end my natural gas recap for the morning. I may or may not take any positions in the correlated ETNs this morning, DGAZ, DGAZ, or UGAZ, UGAZ. Right now, the price on DGAZ is sitting pretty high, and I am not a fan of buying in at all-time high prices, or recent all-time high prices. I like to see the price drop back down to an old resistance or new support area, and then buy there and wait for the climb to come back up. So what I will be watching for is the price action in the pre-market leading up to the open on the day that the report happens, which is today. And then I will be trading the price action after the report. And lots of people like to estimate what that report reaction is going to be, but in reality, I don't think that anyone truly knows. One of my trading mentors likes to say it's probably going to move around a little bit and then jump drastically one way or the other. So that is my prediction for the day on the way natural gas will respond to the report. And I hope that you all will take the opportunity to observe the price action, study the candles. Not a lot of people put emphasis on learning candlestick patterns these days, but I'm actually a really big fan of learning what each individual candle is telling you about how the orders moved during that period of time. And again, I only trade off of the 5-minute chart, so I'm watching these 5-minute candles very carefully. There's a ton of really great information online about candlestick patterns. It's a very old art, and I think that there's a lot of value in it for traders who are working off of price action. All right, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Oh, please remember to like that, smash that like button. I'll get more used to this as time goes on. You guys have a fantastic morning. Bye.